December, OUTshine Film Festival's Fort Lauderdale Virtual Edition, featuring queer films from all over the world. Presenting 18 feature films and 3 shorts programs, plus a drive-in movie night at Pier 66. Watch the best LGBTQ+ films from home. Tickets are on sale now. Check out the program at OUTshineFilm.com.
Hey, all you Outshiners, welcome to the Q&A for My Little Sister, a beautiful film. I look forward to talking to the co-directors. Before that, a big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Gilead in Broward County. We thank you for all you do, not only for us, but for the South Florida community. And here we go. As I said, we're so excited to have with us from Switzerland, Stephanie Chuat and Veronique Reymond.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I always say we just celebrated Thanksgiving, and I always have, one thing we're thankful for is being able to talk to people far away who we wouldn't normally talk to. So we're so glad that you were able to join us and look forward to talking to you about this fabulous film.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
First of all, congratulations. The film was Switzerland's entry into the Best International Feature at the Oscars. So that's kudos. How exciting is that?
Yeah, we are very happy that our country chose us. A bit frustrated because everything is taking place on Zoom. So basically in my living room.
Yeah.
And we would have loved to go to California, to LA. It's a bit frustrating, but still it's very exciting because it's a way for the movie to travel and to introduce it to some other audience than Swiss audience. So we are very excited about that.
Well, congratulations, well deserved, and we fingers crossed it'll keep moving forward. So talk a little bit about the genesis of the film. I know you were both co-writers. So talk about that process, because writing is often, sort of a singular thing. So to sort of co-write, and then where did it go from there? Talk about that, sort of the genesis of the film itself.
Maybe to talk about the genesis of the film, we should talk about ourselves, because we know each other since we are 10 years old. So we are very old friendship, as we say, BFF. And we create, that's why, because how we write together, I think we invent stories for ages now. And we love very much to have this kind of creative word that we share. And we wanted for once to write something about our relationship, about our very unique connection and link, which is really related to our creativity. And this is maybe the genesis of My Little Sister, because it's the relationship between a twin and a brother, sister-brother, brotherhood, twinhood, maybe twinhood, and it's a bit our duet, even if we are not twins. But we wanted for once really to write about this.
And that's great. You sort of see that. The story is so beautiful, and you can tell that in your relationship. So that was evident on screen. How did you find the actors? Was it a typical process of, using a casting? Lina and Lars are phenomenal, as are the supporting cast, but just their relationship together was, just watching it was so stunning. And I hate to keep using the word beautiful, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really a very unique way to find our actors, especially Nina Huss, because we had discovered her in 2012 in Barbara, the movie from Christian Petzold, and we really loved so much her acting. So we started to develop a story taking place in Switzerland, but with with foreigners in Switzerland, and we were thinking of her to play the main part since more than 1 year. We had her picture on the laptop, on the desktop of our laptops, and in 2015 we were in Berlin during the Berlinale, and we went in a boutique, and we saw her in the boutique. She was there in the back buying a necklace or presents, and we were so emotional that I forgot her name, and I said to Veronique, "Isn't she the actress from Barbara?" And Veronique, she said, "Yes." So we thought, okay, we have to talk to her. We don't leave this shop without talking to her. So we waited, and then we went to her and we introduced ourselves. We said, we are two Swiss filmmakers. We are writing a movie for you. Do you have time for a coffee? It was like that, directly the whole sentence in one breath. And she laughed. She was really nice. And she said, oh, maybe not today, but maybe in some days. So I gave her my phone number. And we thought she will never call us. She will think, who are these two Swiss crazy girls? But then I think she Googled us. She saw we had made a film already. And she called us back 3 days later saying, I have time for a quick coffee. And we met her the same day to pitch her the story. And the quick coffee ended up in a 3 hours long coffee and an incredible relationship and friendship that helped throughout the whole process until we could make the movie, shoot it 4 years later and finish it 5 years later. So this is for Nina, because there is also a story about Lars.
But maybe you felt this incredible relationship that Lina and Lars have, and they know each other for a very long time too, because they were at the theater school together, where they made the same theater school when they were 20 years old, and they appreciated each other a lot. And when you share these theater schools where you have to be completely naked in some way, when you learn how to act and how to perform and all this shit that you have to show off and all this, it makes something very intimate between the people and the students, and they have this. So it was for us really a gift because they wanted to work together. And we knew Lars Eidinger actually because we are also actresses, and we know him from our actresses background through his stage director, Thomas Ostermeyer, the boss, the director of the Schaubühne in Berlin. And we know Thomas Ostermeyer from our actresses background. And through Thomas, we knew Lars, and we could have all this little family in our movie, and that was really something.
So you look mild-mannered, but you're really stalkers. I appreciate that fact. So it worked out tremendously. Talk a little bit about the next step. So you have it written, you have the actors. So talk about the process of making the film, how long it took, the shooting, any crazy stories that happened, just those kind of sort of production stuff.
Well, but interestingly enough, so we are from Switzerland. Our mother tongue is French. On parle français, pour ceux qui parlent français, voilà. Donc, our mother tongue is definitely not German. So that's one of the weird points everybody asks, but why did you do a movie in German? And the thing is, well, we had this thing about Nina Us, and also we like very much the physicality of German actors. Also, US and UK actors have a way to embody the characters that is really unique. In France, we talk more sometimes about talking heads. People are more cerebral. And that's, voila. So we have this German film with German stars, but we couldn't find any German money to shoot. No production in Germany would co-produce the movie. We didn't find any state fund in Germany, so the movie is 100% Swiss and was really, really difficult to finance. And this was one of the paradox, because after, when it was selected at the Berlinale in Berlin in competition, it was really, Nina, she said, so yeah, now I guess they all feel sorry they didn't jump in the story with us because we are in competition, which is, of course, a great achievement for a movie. So that was really one of the tough points, was to finance the movie. But we were really lucky that everybody stayed faithful to the project, even if it was difficult. And then, of course, for the shooting time, we had maybe less days that you would need for such a movie. So it was it was quite an adventure, the shooting.
It was intense. We have many stories you can, but we are going to talk and talk and talk. So
no, it's fascinating. It's and I think we see so many films, gay and lesbian films that I'm sure the budget wasn't expansive, but it looked so rich and it looked so it was again beautiful, both what you said and how you said it and the look of it. So congratulations to you on that. Going to the film itself, I don't know quite how to ask this question, so I'll just ask it. Did you need for the brother to be gay, or was that just sort of a natural component to the story? I mean, could the story have been told if he wasn't?
Yeah, of course, it could have been told if he wasn't, but for us, it was completely obvious from the beginning. As you say, it was completely natural. We always thought Sven would be gay. Mm-hmm. maybe we didn't want to dig into that because we think that today, in this movie, it's not a statement to talk about being gay or not being gay. It's just part of life, and that's something very important for us to share. That it's part of life, and we live with this. You are gay, you're not gay, you're trans, you are whatever you are actually. And this is a story between two human beings who love each other actually, and they are sister and brother.
Yeah, and also it's very interesting that there is no justification to it. And I think for me, it's a big step toward just accepting people how they are without even talking about it, talking about their singularity. His Sven is like that, that's it. And it's never a discussion in the movie. And it's what I like. For me, it's one of the big strengths of his character, and the fact that we don't have even to justify it.
Yeah, and I like that. And, you know, so often that's the stories you hear, like in the States, that would have been, well, we love your story, but can he not be gay? And I'm glad that that's not an issue, and that you sort of, you know, presented it as you know, love is love and people are people. So thank you for doing that. Can you talk a little bit about the background of Lisa? So she's this sort of artist character, and she was a playwright, and sort of now she's foregone that. And then she is helping her brother sort of deal with his sickness by helping him to sort of be back on stage. Talk about the correlation. I think it's like, is she sort of reliving her life and her days through sort of helping him?
Yes. The fact is that Lisa, she's a great artist. She's really a writer, but she just put this a bit apart to take care of her family, just to say she has a kind of deal with her husband. Okay, let's go for 5 years in Switzerland, and then we go back to Berlin, and then I go back to my passion, and now it's your passion, but it's going to be my passion again, and it's not working this way. And she feels that she's losing her essence somehow. But since her brother is an artist, she's kind of, comment on dit, elle projette projecting. She's projecting her passion for theater through his passion that he really truly lives. He's on stage, he's a famous actor, and through his life she can live kind of, but he's sick and he's not able to be on stage anymore. And she begins to realize that without him, she will kind of desiderate herself completely. She's going to be dry, and she has to go back to her creativity so she can leave him somehow. And this is a big journey that she has to make, and he helps her a lot. And he's very, very careful of always reminding her to go back to her creativity, because he knows that soon he will be able to be this, I would say, cette projection, ou ce remplaçant, comment on dit ça, cet ersatz. I can't find the, but you said he won't replace her need for creativity actually anymore. That's why it's so all connected.
Yeah, the other thing, you see the empathy in Lisa. You know, it's definitely there, the way she interacts with her brother, but her relationship with her family is somewhat distant and somewhat different. Can you talk a little bit about that sort of, both those relationships, the empathetic side and then the sort of distant side? And maybe I'm using the wrong word, but she doesn't seem to have the same sort of relationship with the family she does with the brother.
But it's because she's taking so much care of her brother that it kind of takes all her attention. But during the writing of the movie, myself, I accompanied my mother, who was sick with lung cancer. She was diagnosed while we were writing the story, and in our story there was already the illness being there. And from one day to the other, I was the carer of my mother, and my close people close to me, like Veronique or my boyfriend, they could see I was a bit more distant in my emotional relationship to them, because all my energy was taken in this because I knew my mother would die. She died 10 months later. So she doesn't do that on purpose, Lisa, but she's so much absorbed in this journey, in this transformation she's experiencing, that she can't rely on her family the same way she would if her brother was healthy. So it's a temporary moment. But in this temporary moment comes back all her creativity, and this could change her life forever. But it doesn't mean she will separate from her husband or family. She's just like a butterfly. She's in transformation.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for putting that into perspective. I appreciate that. Talk a little bit about you've known each other forever and you've worked together forever. Do you like play into each other's strengths? Do you know, the thing I really loved is that scenes were beautiful, yet the characters were beautiful. Did one of you sort of focus on the style and others focus on the words, or how did that sort of play out that you two co-directed such a marvelous way?
Actually, when we write, it depends, because we want to be fresh in everything and maybe to improvise every new project. It can be different. When we were actresses and we created the shows, we always needed to be completely equal in everything, to write the same amount of lines for each of us, to sing the same amount of songs, and to be the same amount of time on stage. And it was very important for us. But then we understood that we are completely different, very much, and we can be complementary. It's much stronger, actually. And we are learning how to be complementary and how to use each other's strength in order to, I would say, improve our work. And that's why sometimes I'm more writing and Stéphanie is more on the Ministre des Affaires Extérieures.
Doing all the phone calls and working with the outside world.
Yeah, already in pre-production, when I would be more still in the writing process. And then, but when we are on stage, on the set together, we are directing completely together, actually. And we are a real duet on a set. And we don't want to decide who is doing what, because we want also to be always fresh with the actors, with the technical crew. We always want to be at the moment and to feel where am I the most useful right now and for whom. Oh yes, I have a great relationship now with the actress, so Stéphanie is going to talk to the technical crew, but that it's going to be completely the opposite, and we want to keep it fresh.
And in the editing room for this movie, we were there all the time, and it can be pretty intense because we try to go to the same goal, but not always with the same way. So we had some moments where it can be pretty tense, but what is interesting that in the end, the result isn't a compromise between us, you do this, I do that. It's really, we will discuss until we both agree that it's that way. And this is very important because it keeps always the tension in the scene, in the picture, and the characters. It's not, it's not Swiss, it's not compromise for that. We are very intense and passionate about, because it's our life. We put our life in what we do, so we really want it to be the sharper, the more intense, and the more right with our deep intentions.
Well, again, it's evident in what you created. So thank you again. Do you have a preference? So your writers, your directors, your actors, I'm sorry. Do you have a preference? Is there one, or do you like it all? Want to keep doing it all?
To be honest, we don't act so much lately. We are not so much actresses because we are so much involved in our projects and in the writing process, and then the production process and the directing process and editing process is so long that at one point you just have to make choices. So right now we are really creating our films and series, and we are very much more in the, I would say, multimedia more than theater, because we are really coming from theater. Also street theater. And and now it's more about writing movies, writing series, directing them, and trying to get them to show them to an audience, to audiences.
But I really like all stages. Acting is something different, but when we do films, I really like every steps because it's always, you develop always different abilities. For example, when we are doing the sound, it's incredible how my ears, I will hear all the sound of life. Like if I was doing it in a film, oh, there is a car passing by, oh, here is a plane, and it brings your senses. They are much more accurate according to what you are doing. So it's great because you are always stimulated differently. But then it's always this process going back and back. I mean, every time you do a movie, you go through all these steps again, and I really love every step. Editing is very stressful because there is no. I mean, if you you have this several writings process of a movie, which is writing, shooting, and editing. But after editing, you have to make the package nice, but the movie is there at the end of the editing. So editing is a very, very special and sensitive moment, because it's where you really have the latest step to really give birth to your film.
They're all a lot of work. So, kudos to you for taking on those responsibilities and continuing to do so. Talk a little bit about the sort of the history of the film. I know it premiered in Berlin, and then a little thing called COVID came that I'm assume put a squash on what was next. So what did happen? Did the film, how did you have to have the film seen, or what was that? It must have been murder to just know this thing was out there and you couldn't do much with it. So can you talk a little bit about sort of that?
Yes, first, we are very happy because it was premiered in Berlin in front of a huge audience. We had a premiere in front of 1,600 people, and it was amazing. And we didn't know at that moment that it would be such a precious souvenir, remembrance, because it was the last time you could really show it in front of such an audience. Then we had COVID, so we had to postpone the release of the movie in Switzerland, and we had to wait until September. And in September we could release it in Switzerland, but still it was very fragile because the theaters it's extremely réglementé.
Reduced.
There are rules. It's a very small amount of people, and people are afraid to go to the movies. So you have two enemies there. First the fear, then all the sanitary condition that makes the halls very, very small with small audiences. But still we could go with the movie, meet people, and that was so important to us. And then we had the second. The movie was supposed to be released in Germany, but it was released only for 4 days. But because we had the second shutdown after the second wave, as we say in Europe, and now we are fully in the second wave, and we are just really enjoying our film being screened online almost in many festivals all over the world. Actually,
yeah, we should have gone to Australia, to China, to Los Angeles. So now we stay in our living room, and we all make Zooms with the rest of the world. So yeah, but we are healthy, and that's the main point, I guess.
Yeah, keep making your beautiful films, and you will get to visit all those countries soon. So, we're sort of winding down, and you sort of alluded to some of this, but what is the takeaway? What do you want people who see the film to sort of leave the theater and think about as they're driving home or walking home, when that eventually happens? But sort of we call it the takeaway to the film.
I would say, as strange as it can seem, that's a story about hope. There is hope in this story. It's hope because it's love, and that when you love someone, even if this person has to go, this person can give you so much that you can keep going on and you can survive, but more than survive, because she's not surviving, she's getting creative again. That means that she has a meaning also for life. And this is something we really would love the audience to have inside, to feel that I can have the strength to survive my difficulties. And we all have difficult times right now with the COVID. And we know that many people are losing close people, and it's very hard. And but that's maybe why our movie is important right now, because it's about loss, but it's so much also about connections, deep connections that helps us actually to survive losses.
Very well put. Do you think this is sort of the genre, these beautiful, sort of stories? Do you want to do comedies, or is this sort of the this is I would imagine it was tough to write and tough to shoot, and because it's just so beautiful and so powerful that I think it would take a lot out of you. Is this where you sort of think you'll continue to write and create?
Si on va continuer à écrire des...
Je pense, quoi.
Yes, no, I understood this. Yeah, we like very much to talk about family. We like very much to talk about emotions, and we like very much to talk about complex relationships, psychological complex relationships, and also complex situations. But intimacy is what we love maybe the most, to talk about these intimate situations where you have to make crucial choices actually for you, for your life, for your future, for what's important now. And this is something we also already experienced in our first feature, The Little Bedroom. It was a story between an old man and a young home care, and they both have many fragilities, and they just have a beautiful connection that helps them both to go through their independent difficulties, I would say. And we made a series. This was a bit different. It was more comedy, but we also made a documentary about lonely women from 65. But that was a documentary, how they deal with loneliness, but also with love life, and how they are also allowing themselves to fall in love again. When you are 65, you are alone, you're a widow, you're divorced. When you think, shall I allow myself to feel something again for someone? And this is something, again, about emotion, relationship, intimacy, and maybe it's what we like to explore.
Yeah, and also what we like is to have a character-driven story, because as we are actresses, we really put at the center of our stories actors. And I think Nina Huss and Lars Heidinger, mostly in our film, are really conveying what we try to convey, but they really have all the nuances and the subtleties that makes the movie to be at the highest rank possible in his we like to work with such great actors, because they can convey all the humanity of the characters through what we write and try to express. And for us, the final touch is really to have these actors, because it's them who really are the messengers of the story.
Yeah, that's a great place to stop. You mentioned intimacy and complexity, and those were certainly both evident as well as beauty. Thank you again, Stephanie, Veronique, for allowing us to screen this beautiful film, and for being here and sharing your story. I love the fact that you've been friends forever, and it definitely shows. We look forward to more work, and hopefully next time we can see you in person in Miami. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Keine 15 Minuten durch.
Man muss sich ausruhen, ist alles.
Hast du was geschrieben? Wenn's gut ist, nehme ich's.
Ich habe im Moment nichts.
Wo ist Sven?
Ich weiß nicht, sollen wir ihn suchen?
Ja.
Nicht so doll, nicht so doll.
Was ist denn vor mit deinem Leben? Schreibst du ein Meisterwerk nach dem anderen?
Nervt mich nicht, ich schreibe eh nicht mehr.
Und los! Schneller! Gas geben!
30 Sekunden unter der Zunge lassen, dann kannst du es runterschlucken.
Da ist ja Alkohol drin. Prost.
Du bist
Mir geht's gut. Ich bin topfit.
Es tut mir leid. Geht nicht anders.
Es geht hier um Sven. Ein Schauspieler, der begehrt wird, das ist ein lebendiger Schauspieler. Weil wenn du ihm dieses Begehren nicht schenkst, wenn du ihm das nimmst, dann tötest du ihn schneller, als jede Krankheit es könnte. Und sagt nicht, dass es dir leid tut. Ihr sagt alle, dass es euch leid tut. Ihr habt keine Ahnung. Ihr habt keine Ahnung.
Ich von meiner Schwester. Wenn 2 Minuten nach mir zurechtgekommen ist.
Du hast recht. 2 Minuten machen viel aus.
Ich muss auf dich aufpassen.